Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. And my apologies again today, more technical issues. My computer decided to restart again while I was out at lunch. So I came back about 1:15, 1:20, and my computer had restarted, so I lost everything. So I had to get Bookmap set up again and everything else. So again, my apologies. You can guess what I'm going to be doing this weekend is troubleshooting this computer. Not sure what the problem is. Anyway, again, my apologies. I'm starting about 10 minutes late, so I will go. So I've got about 1:40 now. I'll go to about 2:40. All right, so again, my apologies. Let's get started. My contact information, here it is. The best way to get in touch with me is Discord, on Discord. My name is Doug P. Also on Bookmap Discord, there's the Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of this presentation and my channel. And the Options-Doug chat channel that I'll go over in just a moment. So Bookmap Discord is free and open to everyone, and you're all welcome there. All right, I'm also on Twitter, X, actually formerly known as Twitter, X now, at Doug Pless is my name. The focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step on my process is execution. And I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be talking about setups in an underlying asset, and setups can be taken any number of ways with futures, shares of stock, or options. For example, a setup in the S&P 500 can be taken with ES futures, SPY shares, SPY options, SPX options, or even ES options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord, as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. And again, thank you for your understanding, everyone. Gray, Joel, Don, thank you very much. All right, my agenda for today, what I want to cover is, first of all, news items, economic data, and events for today. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from this morning. And then I'll talk about the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's get started with economic data and events for today. So first of all, the big event, economic data event, was the core PCE data that came out. There were a number of different versions of PCE, but it looked like, to me, it was all pretty much in line to maybe slightly lower than expected. So there's the PCE data. And then, of course, today is the end of the quarter, end of the month, and kind of a minor options expiration. This chart is showing delta notional on the vertical axis with expiration date on the horizontal axis. And this is for a combined SPX, SPY, NDX, QQQ, and Russell 2000. So what this is showing is there's the expiration today, slightly put dominated. That's shown by the larger blue bar. There is more put or negative delta expiring than positive, and that could potentially help fuel a rally. All right, so potential for a slight rally, slightly negative or put fueled rally as these puts expire. All right, that is the and actually there was one other news item today. Consumer sentiment came out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and that was greater than expected, also greater than the previous number. All right, so that is the PCE data, consumer sentiment, and the slightly put dominated expiration today. All right, let's get started with positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. So this is the ES futures in Bookmap, and note that because of my restart, I did lose my lose my MBO data. That's the stops and icebergs. So that will limit my ability to analyze the market a bit. All right, so this is the S&P 500. Before I take a closer look at this chart, I'm going to take a look at a larger time frame. I'm going to go to the SPX. This is a 30-day, 1-hour chart for SPX. Here's the September 15th, very large expiration, call dominated, and the downtrend began then as calls expired and market makers could sell their hedges. And it appeared that that rally that downtrend may have stopped on Wednesday, but now price is moving lower again, so maybe that was just a pullback. We'll have to wait and see on that. All right, let's take a look at some levels on this chart. So first of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move, and that is based on the options market. That should be available in any trading platform that has an options chain, and that is updated once a week, and that's for the week. Then the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move, again based on the options chain, options pricing in risk, and that changes every day. All right, so the SPX is trading within both ranges, the daily expected move as well as the weekly expected move. All right, let me point out some spot gamma levels on this chart. These are proprietary spot gamma levels based on gamma weighted open interest. These are available to spot gamma subscribers. First of all, I'm going to go over the key daily levels. So here is the put wall. That's at 4,200. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. Then above that, the 4,300 level is the absolute gamma strike. That's the strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. Then above that is the volatility trigger. That is Spotgamma's. Let me redraw that. Put wall, absolute gamma strike, volatility trigger at 4350. That is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility. On the other hand, above that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. And notice that SPX is trading below that level. The gamma notional at the beginning of the day was negative and is still negative. All right, then finally, the call wall is at 4,500. That's a strike with the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. And as far as shifts in levels for SPX, there was only a minor shift lower in the volatility trigger from 4360 to 4350. So otherwise, the primary levels, the put wall, call wall, and absolute gamma strike all held steady. All right, let's take a look at SPX for today to see what levels, take a closer look and see if there are any levels in play for today. So really the only level here shown on this chart is the 4,300 absolute gamma strike. That's showing that as an L3 level, also a combo L2 level. Let's just zoom a little bit so we can see anything else in play. So again, SPX trading within the expected daily range, but heading toward down toward the lower daily expected move. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap now, and I should zoom in on this chart. Sorry, all my charts were reset. I didn't have time to reset every chart. All right, so this is Bookmap. I have my own cloud nodes here, and I am showing SPX levels. Note there is a difference in price between SPX and ES, and right now it's a little bit less than 37, and I use 37. So I'm showing SPX 4300 absolute gamma strike at 43.37 ES. So again, 37 point difference. I also have the support and resistance levels that were noted in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. They're not shown on the Thinkorswim charts, but I do show them on my charts. Then finally, I have SPY levels, and there are two lines right here. The label for the 4315 support level, that is meant to line up with the SPY 430 level, and SPY 430 is the absolute gamma strike and also the volatility trigger. So this is a very important level for SPY. So that's essentially SPY 430 right there, that level. So I've got SPX levels, SPY levels, and then also big round numbers for the ES, the zeros and the 50s. All right, so in the morning session, The initially there was support right around the 430 level. Price chopped around the 431 level and then started to move lower around 1130. And we'll take a look and see what options traders were doing. Price broke below the 430 level and now is heading down toward the 42.74 level. So yesterday for the S&P 500, there was a very clean, the reactions at the SPY round number levels, very clean. I posted a setup with the reversal at the SPY 425 put wall and a move up to the 430 level. Not so clean today for the S&P 500. All right, so those are the levels in play for today. As far as shifts in levels for SPY, there was one shift. The call wall shifted higher from 450 yesterday to 450 to 460 today. So that is well out of play and not really in consideration today. All right, so that's the S&P 500. Again, we'll take a look at setups in a few minutes. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. And before I take a closer look at this chart, that's NQ futures, I'm going to first of all isolate the QQQ levels in play for today. So here's the QQQ volatility trigger. QQQ initially traded above that level, then it acted as a resistance. QQQ making a series of lower highs, a test of the volatility trigger at 362, then VWAP, then the trend line, and then a sharp drop lower after that. Actually, let me zoom in on this a little bit. All right, let's take a look at NDX now. Let's actually go back to QQQ. So looking at gamma levels again, the volatility trigger, this combo L5 level did act as support until price broke below, then broke below the 360 level, which is the absolute gamma strike. And that strike did move higher from yesterday from 350 to 360. Let's take a look at NDX and we'll see this combo level in play as well that acted as support. So just for completeness, we'll take a look at NDX. So there's that combo level. The combo level for NASDAQ combines NDX and QQQ into one, again, one gamma level, combo level. All right, let's go to Bookmap. So for NQ, I have my cloud notes again. And I have, so there's the 0 gamma level, NDX levels, also QQQ levels. There's the 360 absolute gamma strike. Notice that NASDAQ traded up to its upper daily expected move today and then reversed lower. All right, so those are that's the NASDAQ, the levels in play for today. Again, we'll take a look at setups in a few minutes and shifts in levels. Again, the absolute gamma strike for QQQ shifted higher, and the volatility trigger for NDX shifted slightly higher. And Devano says, show us BTC, Bitcoin. Sorry, I don't have any crypto here. Yeah, I don't trade crypto. I really don't know anything about it. I primarily trade futures and stocks, and that are pretty heavily driven by the options market. All right, let's take a look at gamma notional now to see how market makers were positioned on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. So here's gamma notional for SPX, SPY, and QQQ. Gamma notional for NDX is not significant. Notice all these numbers are negative. SPX, 1.25 billion. SPY, 2.2 billion. And QQQ, 764 million, all negative. This indicates that traders are long puts, market makers are short puts, and they have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. So if price decreases, their delta notional will increase, and they have to sell futures. They always want to remain delta neutral. And those numbers did become slightly less negative than yesterday, but still quite negative. All right, let's take a look at the Vanna model now. And this will give us a graphical representation of what I was just talking about. This is SPX. This chart is showing market makers delta notional and how that changes with changes in price. Delta notional shown on the vertical axis, price shown on the horizontal axis. There are two curves on this chart. The light curve is showing how market makers delta notional changes with changes in price only. The purple curve adds implied volatility to the equation. That's showing how market makers delta notional changes with changes in price and implied volatility. And that change in delta with a change in implied volatility is the Vanna effect. Vanna is a second order Greek. So what this chart is showing is if price increases, market makers can buy back short futures. Their delta notionals decreasing, they always would remain delta neutral. So Frank, this would be a put Vanna rally. With the movement this way, price increases, implied volatility drops. Market makers can buy back short futures. All right, so when I checked this morning, let's see, let's go back to the SPX chart. So the high of the day for SPX was about 43.32. All right, somewhere around here. So this is indicating at that high of the day, very little potential for a put Vanna rally. This is showing as price increases and implied volatility decreases, market makers could buy back short futures. But this is compared to the last few days, not very significant. So not much of a potential for a put Vanna rally. So today again we were looking for, first of all, some loss of puts due to the expiration today, and that could potentially provide fuel for a rally, as well as put Vanna. But at the high of the day at 43.32, that fuel was pretty limited. Actually, that's right around here, so I drew my arrows a little bit too far to the left. somewhere between these two lines. All right, so very little potential for put Vanna rally. And again, remember the expiration compared to especially the October and December expirations that were shown on that chart was not very significant. Now, on the other hand, if price decreases and implied volatility increases, market makers have to sell futures. And this is typical of a negative gamma environment, so it works both ways. So if price decreases, implied volatility increases, market makers' delta notional will increase, and they have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. So there was a potential for a put Vanna rally, and so far that does not seem to be the case today. Let's just go back and take a look at SPX chart one more time. So SPX continues to move lower. Right now trading right around 42.80. So if price does rally from here, there's more potential for a put Vanna rally. So if implied volatility starts to drop, price increases now, there's more potential fuel for a put Vanna rally. On the other hand, if price keeps moving lower, market makers will have to continue to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. All right, let's take a look at SPY and QQQ. All right, Frank, I hope that answers your question. So it's something that I was looking for, but so far working the other way. Again, remember that Vanna model works both ways. So right now, SPY is trading around 426, somewhere between 426 and 427. So SPY's here, and if price rallies, there's more potential for a put Vanna rally. On the other hand, if price continues to drop, implied volatility increases, market makers will have to continue to sell futures. This always works both ways. Take a look at QQQ. And by the way, these curves with a very steep skew to the left, upward and to the left, these are typical of a negative gamma environment, this type of curve in the Vanna model. QQQ trading around 357. So that's right around here. So some potential for put Vanna rally as well. And then again, on the other hand, if price continues to drop, market makers will have to continue to sell futures. Let's just take a look and see what VIX is doing. Use this as a proxy for implied volatility. So far, VIX is making a series of higher lows all day and continues higher. All right, so price dropping, implied volatility increasing, and so far not looking for a put Vanna rally. All right, let's take a look at some setups now. And I'm going to start with this hero signal for the S&P 500. This is the hero signal again from Spotgamma, available to Spotgamma subscribers. Hero stands for Hedging Impact Real-Time Options, HIRO. And this chart is showing, first of all, price for SPX. That's with the white line. The purple line is the hero signal. That's Hedging Impact Real-Time Options. And this is for a combined signal. So this is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal for SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. All right, instead of initially zooming in on this chart, I'm going to take a look at the SPY chart, which is one component of this chart. And the reason I'm doing that is because of these alerts. So I'm going to zoom in on the morning session. And this may be difficult to see. These icons are pretty small. But there's a small yellow dot that says flow here. And that there were a number of flow alerts. This one was the best, the first one, right after 10 a.m. And there's no indication whether this means bullish or bearish. Brent, founder of Spotgamma, talked about that earlier this week in a presentation to subscribers. I think one of his main uses of this is to look for mean reversion, and that's definitely how this signal worked. So on the SPY chart, just after 10 a.m., there's a flow alert, and right about the same time, HERO turns lower and price turns lower. So let's go take a look at Bookmap now. We'll go back to the S&P 500. We'll zoom in on the morning. So here's that, where that alert came in, 10 a.m. Note the shift in order flow. Aggressive buyers shown by the green volume dot. Those are market buy minus sell delta. So a green dot indicates more buyers than sellers. Magenta dots indicate more sellers than buyers. Let me just darken up the heat map a little bit. There was some liquidity resting at the 43.70 level. So price reverses as traders start taking negative delta positions. Note the sharp shift and cumulative volume delta that's shown by the dark blue line in the subchart. And again, unfortunately, I lost all my MBO data. That's market buy order data. That's what Spotgamma uses, Bookmap uses for the stops and icebergs. So there's the short setup this morning. Now let's zoom out. I don't know why Bookmap is not recentering. Let me tone down the heat map. A bit more. So S&P 500 was making a series of lower highs and then finally broke below this 430 level, shown right there, consolidated, and then continues to move lower. Now dropping more sharply, trading, making a series of lower highs again. All right, you're welcome, Frank. So Frank asked, are there so many puts expiring today? So the Vanna was neutral this morning. So the Vanna showed at the high of the day a slightly, slight move up on that gamma curve toward the left. So it's potential for a slight Vanna tailwind. Remember that chart works both ways. So if at that starting point, if market makers, if price continued to move higher, market makers could buy back short futures slightly. There was a slight Vanna tailwind shown by that chart. Again, on the other hand, this works both ways. So if we just saw that VIX was increasing, price dropping, so implied volatility is increasing. Think of that purple curve, implied volatility increasing and price decreasing. Market makers have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. And yes, there are puts expiring today, but this is compared to, again, October, and let's just take a look at that compared to October and December, fairly minor. So this is today, this is October, and this is December. All right, so that was the really the best starting point for a short this morning, that first flow alert on SPY. And let's just go to the combined signal now here for the S&P 500. So this is combining SPX, SPY, SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. So here's that signal for SPY. Price initially moves lower, then right around 1020, options traders for the combined signal start taking positive delta positions. Price responds a little bit higher, but just makes a lower high. All right, let's zoom out for the day. So it looks like let me get to where I'm showing the entire day from the cash open. So this is the 9:30 regular trading hours. Traders were taking positive delta positions really up until about 11:30, 11:20. That activity levels off, and now they've started taking negative delta positions as price continues lower. So they're finally joining the party about 12:45. Let's take a closer look and see what they're doing. So today they are buying calls, buying puts. That's pretty typical. This buying calls shown by the rising orange line, positive notional value. They're also buying puts, shown by the negative notional value there. And the call buyers started to take their foot off the gas around 11:20 or so, still buying calls, and then finally that activity has now starting to cool off even more. And then traders were initially, it looks like they were selling puts, shown by the rising blue line, and then right around 12:45 started buying puts. All right, so that's the S&P 500 today. A little bit of a difficult read today. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. All right, so PAS 2910, what about 0DTE? Okay, we can take a look at that. So I'm going to go to next expiry. So for the S&P 500, this would be options that expire today, and the green line here, or teal line, that's showing the 0 DTE trades. So it looks like they are a little bit more taking more negative delta positions than the traders in the all expirations, which would be this is the all trades, all expirations. So this is the 0 DTE with the green line, purple line showing all expirations. So net for the day, they've started, it looks like they were buying, let's just zoom in a little bit. So up until about 12:45 net for the day, they were buying with 0 DTE and all expirations. And the 0 DTE was a bit less than half of the total notional value up to that point. Then both shifted lower. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. So first, I'm going to take a look at QQQ. That's where these alerts appear. So here's an alert at 9:40, right at the hedge wall, the 361. So again, this is QQQ, alert at the 361 hedge wall. And initially, QQQ moves higher, almost to the 363 level, and really the key was just watching HERO itself, making a series of lower highs. So this set up a HERO divergent short right around 10, just the same right around the same time as the S&P 500. So let's go to NASDAQ. Let's zoom in on this. Sorry, give me just a moment to adjust the chart so we can see this a little better. All right, so here's the QQQ 361 level. They bounce off that level when that alert comes in. And then the reversal at just below the 363 level, right around the NQ 15,050 level and the NQ upper daily expected move. Pretty clear shift in order flow. Aggressive buyers moving price up. They're exhausted, or the buyers exhaust, and then sellers come in. That's shown by the shift from the green volume dots to the magenta volume dots, and price moves lower as that HERO divergence signaled that traders were taking negative delta positions. All right, let's go back to HERO now. All right, so again, this is for QQQ. And Sodosari says meta trend down today from 310. 310 is the call wall. That is definitely something that I want to take a look at. All right, since then, in QQQ, traders have been taking positive delta positions and price not responding. Let's take a look at the combined signal for NASDAQ. This is combining NDX and QQQ. Similar story as QQQ, which is the major component of that. Let's take a look and see they are buying calls and buying puts. Call buyers more aggressive, shown by the rising orange line, the positive notional value. Right, so after that initial divergence, hero, it looks like options traders are not really driving price. Let's go back to Bookmap. All right, so maybe NASDAQ is finding support at the 14,665 NDX 0 gamma level. All right, let's take a look at some stocks. So we'll take a look at Meta that Slotazari just mentioned. Let's go take a look at Hero. Go to Meta. Zoom in on this. Note that Meta 310 is the call wall that acted as resistance. Let's separate out puts and calls. So initially, call buyers were driving Meta higher up to the call wall. They took their foot off the gas and price reversed lower. Then the put buyers took over. And price continues to trade lower, down now to the 300 key gamma strike. So a couple of key gamma levels in play. Call wall at 310 acting as resistance, and maybe the 300 key gamma strike will act as support. So call buyers driving price from the open up until about 10 a.m. They take their foot off the gas, they stop buying calls, and price starts to drop lower. Then put buyers come in right around 10:50. So when traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. On the other hand, when traders buy puts, market makers sell the puts, and they have to sell stock to hedge their delta exposure. All right, let's go back and take a look at Bookmap. All right, so great short setup here in Meta 310, call wall, resistance level, and maybe the 300 key gamma strike as support. Note the shift in order flow here. There's reversal over earlier. Aggressive buyers into this resting liquidity at the 310 level. Call buyers take their foot off the gas. Aggressive sellers start to come in, shown by the magenta volume dots. And price moves lower all the way down to the 300 key gamma strike. And hello, Trade and Sale says he's back from Italy. San Remo, back to work trading options. Welcome back. Glad you're here. All right, so great short setup in Meta. Thanks again, Slotazari, for pointing that out. All right, the next one I want to take a look at is Microsoft. Let me zoom in on this just a bit. All right, let's go take a look at Hero and see what options traders are doing. So we'll leave puts and calls shown as separate lines. Go to Microsoft. Let's zoom in on this. Take a look at the morning. So this is showing from the open, just like Meta. Traders were buying calls. And right around 10 a.m., they take the foot off the gas. One small buy, or buyers come back in, call buyers. Again, they take the foot off the gas and price moves lower. Not nearly as dramatic as Meta, but price started to move lower just about the same time that everything else did, right around 12:45. And the call buyers became call sellers. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. So that's Microsoft, and not nearly as big a move as Meta, but still kind of the same driver. Call buyers become call sellers, take their foot off the gas, and price moves lower. And let's take a look at one other. Go back to Total Signal. Take a look at Netflix. Thing I want to point out here is these alerts, especially this one right around 9:50. That may be difficult to see, but a good indication for a short. So these alerts just became available on Monday, so it's going to take some time to watch them and to understand. And so the idea is when I see an alert, I'm going to look at Hero, see what Hero's doing, and also look at Bookmap. All right, so I actually have Netflix running on my other computer, so I don't have much time left. I may not look at that today, but Netflix, that was a great entry point for a short, whether you bought a put spread, sold stock. All right, let's scan through now. I've got about 10 minutes left. Let's scan through, first of all, S&P 500, then NASDAQ. Then we can scan through stocks and see if we can find any setups. First of all, let's check the alerts. All right, here's one. This is a different type of alert. The NVIDIA call wall breached. I'm just zooming out to the entire day. So Netflix has been bearish. So it looks like maybe this, right, so this alert comes in at 120. So NVIDIA moved below the call wall at 435, then moved above. Let's go take a look at that in Bookmap. So far for the day, though, the Hero signal is very bearish. So it looks like there was a move below the call wall, then above the call wall, which triggered that alert. Let's see what traders are doing. So far for the day, they're selling calls and selling puts. So the calls shown with the negative notional value there, the falling orange line, and this number positive notional value for the put line indicates they're selling puts. But the call sellers much more aggressive than the put sellers. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA made a series of lower highs, then broke out of this pattern right around 11:30 as traders were mainly selling calls. And those lifestyle says, can gold, sir? I assume you want me to take a look at gold, so I'm good. I can take a look. I don't have gold in Bookmap. Let's see if it's available in Hero. So I can now. Gold futures are not here, so we can take a look for GLD. So that is here. Right, so it looks like traders are taking negative delta positions in GLD. Note there are a couple of alerts here. So in GLD, traders are for most of the day, they were selling calls and buying puts. Then call buyers started to come in right around 12:30. But so far, price is not responding. All right, so that's all I have for gold. Again, don't have gold futures here, either in Bookmap or in Hero. All right, so we found another setup in NVIDIA. Let's check alerts again. I don't trade Dow, but we can take a look at this. Yeah, there's not much. So here's actually the latest alert in GLD. Not sure how to interpret that with the this bump up in the hero signal. It looks like traders are starting to take positive delta positions, and maybe that would be a mean reversion type of alert. All right, let's take a look at the S&P 500. So now it looks like traders are starting to take positive delta positions. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. So the S&P 500 consolidating right around that 4274 level. I'm not sure what this level is. I've just got that 426 level. I've got the wrong color label there. All right, so that's SPY 426, also the 4274 level, price consolidating. It looks like large traders are starting to come in. We've collected enough MBO data to see some large traders coming in, buying with iceberg orders. That's shown by the rising light blue line. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Also consolidating, maybe finding support at the 665 zero gamma level. Here in the subchart, order flow not looking as bullish as the S&P 500. All right, Durajaman, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly, says JP Morgan rolled their collar. Excuse me. Do you have the new strikes? So I know for the current collar, the one that expires today, 4210, I believe, was the put. All right, great, thank you. So the new JP Morgan collar is the short 4500 call, I assume, long 4050 put, and then the short the 3410 put. All right, so it looks like NASDAQ attempting to move higher. Let's see what options traders are doing. So Durajaman says they may also revise by end of day. All right, thank you for that update. Let's go take a look at Hero. For NASDAQ. All right, so traders continue to take positive delta positions in NASDAQ. NASDAQ may be responding higher. Also in the S&P 500, traders are starting to take positive delta positions starting around 215 or so, 220. So let's go to Bookmap, S&P 500. So if I were looking for a trade in NASDAQ, I would look for a breakout of either out of this 357 to 358 range. Same for the S&P 500, that is the 426 level and the 427 level. Order flow based on the subchart does look a little bit more bullish in the S&P 500. We know that traders are starting to take positive delta positions again. So maybe we'll have a late afternoon put Vanna rally. All right, my time is up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you very much for your questions and comments. Sorry about my technical issues. I will be troubleshooting my PC this week, considering buying a new Mac M2 Studio. So maybe that'll work out. Again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your questions and comments. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.